Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 10, texts 16 and 17. वक्तुमर्हसि अशेषेण दिव्या ह्यात्मविभूतयः याभिर्विभूतिभिर्लोकान् इमां त्वं व्याप्य तिष्ठसि कथं विद्यामहं योगिंस् त्वां सदा परिचिन्तयन् केषु केषु च भावेषु चिन्त्योऽसि भगवन्मया. Now Arjuna, he's asking, O Krishna, Vaktum arhasi aseshena divyahi atma vibhutayaha. Atma vibhuti means your opulences, which are divine. Divyahi atma vibhutayaha aseshena, which are unlimited. If you think I deserve to hear those, Vaktum arhasi, those vibhutayaha, yabhir, by which this lokan tvam vyapya tisthasi, by which opulences yabhir vibhuti bihi lokaniman, these three worlds you have pervaded. Please tell me in detail of your divine powers by which you pervade all these worlds and abide in them. And then the next verse, Arjuna says, Katham vidyamaham yogims. O yogi, O great mystic, supreme mystic, Katham vidyamaham, how will I know you and how I can always think of you? Because Krishna has said in the previous chapter, ending of the previous chapter, the most confidential knowledge is Manmana Bhavamad Bhakto. Always think of me, become my devotee. And so, how I can always think of you? Sada parichintayan, keshu keshu cha bhaveshu chintyosi bhagavan maya. In keshu keshu cha bhaveshu, in what various forms chintyosi can I think about you, O Lord? How can I meditate upon you? So, few important things to understand here. Arjuna is not demanding. He is saying, Vaktum arhasi, if you think I deserve to be told these things. So this is the way of approaching a higher authority. Not with arrogance or impudence. You have to tell me. You have to do this. You have to do this. So there has to be submissiveness. As we discussed yesterday also, the three things which are needed for a disciple is that vidhi pranipatena, one has to surrender, pariprashnena, inquire, and render sevaya, render service. So inquiring submissively, pariprashnena means inquiring submissively. So that is what Arjuna is doing. And Prabhupada mentions in this verse, it appears that Arjuna is already satisfied with his understanding of the Supreme Lord Krishna. As we had seen earlier, he has glorified Krishna as Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan. So by Krishna's grace, Arjuna has personal experience, intelligence and knowledge, and whatever else a person may have through all these agencies. And he has understood Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For him, there is no doubt. Yet, he is asking Krishna to explain his all-pervading nature so that in the future people will understand, especially the impersonalists, how he exists in his all-pervading aspect through his different energies. So Arjuna is asking on behalf of the common people, how common people when they see this world, how immediately they can think of Krishna? Please tell in various ways they can think about you, is what is being asked by Arjuna. And in the next verse, because Arjuna used that word yogin, or supreme mystic, Prabhupada talks about how the Supreme Personality of Godhead is covered by his yogamaya. Only surrendered souls and devotees can see him. Like yesterday, we talked about this example of Nato Natyadharo Yadha, a dramatic artist on the stage. He's performing in a particular role and nobody can recognize him, who he is. He's actually somebody, father of somebody. But because his makeup is such a way, that he's acting in such a way, his emotions in such a way, that nobody is able to recognize he's such and such person. So Krishna is always covered by his yoga maya. Maya Javanika Channam. Krishna is always covered by his yoga maya curtain. Just like the sun, when it is blazing, when you look up, you cannot clearly make out there is sun because it is covered by that brilliant effulgence. So likewise, the Lord is covered by Hiranyamayena Patrena Satyasya Apihitam Mukham. Apihitam Mukham. His Mukham is covered by that brilliance. Hiranmayena Patrena. Patra means a covering. But only for devotees, Krishna removes that covering. That is why Prabhupada says here. Only surrendered souls and devotees can see him. So people ask, can you see God? Can you show me God? So this king was an atheist. He was telling his minister, hey, you seem to be a Brahmana, seem to be very religious. What has God done for the kingdom? I have done everything. And the minister said, no, by God's grace you have done everything. What do you mean God's grace? Where is God? Show me God. Sir, I cannot show you God. See, if you cannot even show me God, how can you expect to people to believe that there is God? And then the minister said, sir, can you please come outside? It was a blazing summer, midday. And then he said, my dear king, can you please look up to the sun? And the king said, are you crazy? It's so blazing outside and I cannot even look up. You're saying look directly into the sun. I won't do that. I won't be able to do that. And then the minister said, see, you cannot even see the sun, which is just a minute, tiniest of the expansions or the energies of Krishna. And what to speak of Krishna, God Himself? You think you can see so easily? So we get puffed up by our abilities. Even though the eyelashes are the closest to our eyes, we cannot see those eyelashes, isn't it? Even though we are seeing every day in front of the mirror, we cannot see ourselves. We think swadhihi kalatradishu yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke. We think we are this body made of these three elements, tridhatuke, kapha, pitta, vayu. These three elements make, according to Ayurveda, there are these three elements this body is made of: mucus, bile, and air. And if there is a disturbance in that equilibrium, there is disease. This is how Ayurveda treats. They check the nadi. So Bhagavatam says, this bag of three elements, yes, yatma buddhihi, kunape tridhatuke. This kunapa, this bag of three elements, that's all this body is. But one who thinks that I am same as this body, He is a fool. So we don't see the reality. We don't see who our real self is. So we want to see God. So God is not easy to be seen. He reserves the right to reveal himself. Yam evaisha brunate tena labhyas. So only surrendered souls and devotees can see him. Now Arjuna is convinced that his friend Krishna is the supreme Godhead, but he wants to know the general process by which the all pervading Lord can be understood by the common man. See, common man, they are they cannot see Krishna spiritually, but they can appreciate God's presence in this world through various manifestations. Oh, see, the great Himalayas. You go to these wonderful places like the Grand Canyon, the Taj Mahal, the Himalayas. You see these wonderful creations of this world. It could be man made or it could be God made, especially that of nature. The brilliant rainbow, the brilliant, the natural sceneries that we find throughout the world, the brilliant power somebody exhibits. These are all, they cannot be exhibited without God empowering. So, a common person, this is the first stage, how one can perceive God through his opulences, how he has pervaded throughout this world by these kind of brilliant manifestations. So, a superior devotee like Arjuna is not concerned only for his understanding, but for the understanding of all mankind. How a common man can perceive the Supreme Lord, can see the Supreme Lord who is pervaded everywhere. That is why he is addressing Krishna as Yogin, because Krishna is the master of yogamaya energy, by which he is covered and uncovered to the common man. The common man who has no love for Krishna cannot always think of Krishna. Therefore, he has to think materially. Arjuna is considering the mode of thinking of the materialistic persons of this world. So they have to focus on physical things and try to see how Krishna is manifested by physical representations. So this is Arjuna's compassion. And in the next few verses, we will see how Krishna will explain, if you see a particular brilliant manifestation in this world, you should think that is me. It's because of my investing a tiny portion of my brilliance in that. Coming back to that yogamaya, when Krishna and Balaram, they were herding these cows, they were loving these cows. First, they were herding these calves, and they would love these calves like anything. They would play with them, they would wash them, they would greet them for coming to drink water, they would feed them, so many things. And for 1 year, they were like in the Brahma Vimohana Leela, as we had seen, how Brahma steals them for 1 year, and Krishna manifested everything. And Krishna is interacting with all of them as if nothing happened. And then Balaram was not there at that time when Brahma stole all these friends of Krishna and these calves. Balaram was not there. And then Krishna manifested all these people by his own expansions, and he was playing with them. And then Balaram, who is also the supreme personality of Godhead, the first expansion of Krishna, he never suspected that they weren't really his friends. I mean, they were not Krishna's friends, they were Krishna himself manifested as friends. He never suspected that they weren't really the calves. They were all expansions directly of Krishna. So Balaram himself could not understand this. See, how do we understand Balaram himself not being able to understand? The answer is that the yogamaya. The yogamaya is, of course, Krishna and Balaram, they are the supreme personality of Godhead. Yogamaya is expansion of Krishna, ultimately. Even Krishna himself puts himself and Balaram himself puts himself under the influence of Yogamaya. He wants to act when he takes the form of a child. He wants to act exactly like a child, afraid of the mother, playing all pranks, playing with his friends, causing all mischief, playing with the friends in the mud, and friends treating him like an ordinary person, jumping on him. So Krishna always wants that kind of interaction. So he keeps himself under Yogamaya. So Balaram also, he subjects himself. Unless they subject themselves to the control of Yogamaya, that pastime, they cannot relish that pastime. So you see, all these pastimes, sometimes people, they see, oh, Krishna also got bewildered when his cowherd boyfriends went inside the mouth of Aghasura. Krishna also got bewildered. Oh, these people are all going. What should I do now? He's God after all. Or that demon Salva, when he, by his mystic power, he brought Vasudeva, a replica Vasudeva, image of Vasudeva, and cut off his head. And Krishna became so morose, so dejected. How is it that God is becoming dejected and morose like this? Ramachandra became so dejected when Sita Devi was taken away. He was crying pitifully. How can I live? Where is Sita? So, like that, you see, Krishna, Rama, Balarama, they're all acting like this, like ordinary people. Why? Because they want to enjoy that rasa. The rasa that we enjoy is also coming from Krishna. We are all rasa enjoying people. If I keep you in a locked room, will you ever be happy? No, maybe for 1 hour. Immediately you want to go out and interact with people. Because we are eternally rasa seeking, the relation happiness we want. So Krishna also eternally seeks that happiness. And he finds that happiness with his close associates only. With his internal potency, Radharani, Sita Devi, Lakshmi Devi. Or with his eternal associates, Yashoda, Nanda, cowherd boyfriends, the gopis. He's exchanging innumerable varieties of rasas. And he subjects himself to that Yogamaya potency for bringing out that particular wonderful pastime. Like yesterday we were reading from Krishna book in the evening. How Akrura came and took away Krishna to Mathura because Kamsa found out Krishna is the one who is going to kill him. He has devised in the name of a wrestling match. He wanted to attack and kill Krishna and Balaram. So he sent Akrura, his minister, to bring Krishna and Balaram from Vrindavan on the plea of fighting a wrestling match. And then Krishna and Balaram started to go much against the will of these Vrajavasis, particularly the gopis. They were so attached to Krishna, so attached to Krishna. And he was on the chariot the final day, and the morning Akrura got onto the chariot. He was about to drive, and these gopis, they would just surround the chariot. They wouldn't let him go. And Krishna had to plead, no, please let me go. I will come back. I'm giving you word. I'll come back. And they were crying. They were like so pitiful. Nobody can describe their feelings. And they were all falling down, but then Krishna let the chariot go. And they were following, 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 and they couldn't follow anymore. And they kept on watching until they couldn't see the chariot. They could only see that flag of the chariot. And then that also is disappeared. And then the dust that is raised by the chariot filled the sky. And they they just became motionless, just like painted pictures. And they were crying, and they just couldn't forget Krishna. And they just went back and just thought of Krishna day and night. And Krishna was thinking of them day and night. Why is this separation? Why Krishna had to be separated? He is God himself, he can enjoy. Because the acharyas say that there is a rasa called Vipralambha rasa, which is separation, the mood of separation. Thinking of Krishna in the mood of separation has more happiness than being with Krishna in union. Because Krishna being absolute, there is no difference between the thought of Krishna and Krishna himself. Sometimes when you love somebody and always thinking of that person, you always want to think of that person and you are with that person by that strong attachment. So the gopis, because of that strong attachment to Krishna, they couldn't forget Krishna. They kept on thinking about Krishna. And Krishna likewise always thought of them. So this is the rasa Krishna wanted to enjoy. The gopis wanted to enjoy. The yogamaya is arranging all these things. So the point is, Krishna also, God also comes under yogamaya. But the difference is, God will never be in illusion. But when we come under yogamaya, it is called actually mahamaya. The same person, Krishna's personal energy, Radharani's expansion, yogamaya, she acts on the devotees and she acts on the non devotees. When she acts on the devotees, it is called yogamaya. It is for the purpose of that pastime. And the result is enhancement of love for Krishna, enhancement of bliss. But when she acts on the non devotees in this material world, it is called mahamaya. The result is illusion. The result is distress. The result is forgetfulness of Krishna. So, this is the difference between yogamaya and mahamaya. So, we should always take shelter of Krishna's yogamaya, not mahamaya. Mahamaya means Durga Devi. Mahamaya, by which we become illusioned to think we are this body. The bodily expansions are mine. Sense gratification is the happiness. There is no need for God. I can live eternally. There is no higher purpose in life. This is all called illusion by Mahamaya. Yogamaya means I eternally belong to Krishna. I am part and parcel of Krishna. I am the servant of Krishna. This is Yogamaya. Now, one time, Prabhupada's disciple, he asked a very interesting question. He said, Prabhupada, can you explain Mahamaya and Yogamaya? Was Arjuna under Yogamaya or Mahamaya? It's a very interesting question because Arjuna, he was a great devotee, but he completely fell under the illusion of thinking, oh, these people are my kinsmen. How can I kill them? They are my superiors. And Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight and kill, and Arjuna is thinking like this. He seems to be under illusion. So was Arjuna under yogamaya or mahamaya? And then Prabhupada, he clarified, he said, Arjuna, when he was thinking in terms of personal sense gratification, he was under mahamaya. And when he agreed to execute the order of Krishna, then he is under yogamaya. And now the question comes, but Arjuna is eternally liberated. And then Prabhupada said, because we are living entities, Arjuna is living entity, he's not God. Living entity means we are just like the drop of the ocean or the spark in the fire. The spark in the fire can sometimes fall out of the fire. Or if you go to the beach, sometimes the land portion is covered by the water, uncovered by the water. That means the living entity is marginal potency. Sometimes we are covered by Krishna, sometimes we are covered by Maya. So usually we are all covered by Maya. Sometimes we come to Krishna. When we become perfected, we always choose Krishna. So Prabhupada said a living entity's position is like that marginal energy. He may be under the influence of Yogamaya or he may be under the influence of Mahamaya. When he is under the influence of Mahamaya, that is his conditional life. And when he is under the influence of Yogamaya, he is free. And then he comes to Krishna. Of course, Prabhupada also many times clarified Arjuna willingly put himself under that condition. That is his mercy, so that he can show mercy to others. He can bring out this great literature to others. I'll stop here. Anyone has any questions or comments? Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna.